Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 8 of the podcast where we talk all things film and television in real time. My name is Ryan, and I work in the film industry.
And I'm Noah, a sports broadcaster. Today we're talking about The Boys' final season trailer, the Netflix news that broke the internet, and some recent comic book movie updates. And we're re-ranking November projects, as well as giving our ranking for December projects we are most anticipated for. Ryan, how are you, my man?
I'm good. It was good to see you last weekend. If you didn't get a chance to check it out, we did our first in-person episode. We were in my basement because I was home for the holidays for Thanksgiving, and we got to talk all things Stranger Things, and it was great. It was really good to see you. And outside of our podcast, we had a really good time. We got to see each other quite a few times. So
That we did it. And we also saw the movie together, the newest Knives Out movie together, Wake Up Dead Man.
and we're going to talk about that for sure because
Absolutely.
yeah, I got a lot of thoughts.
It was a nice conversation we had, me, you, Mr. What's-It. I will say you caught me by surprise with the intro.
Oh, the intro to our Stranger Things episode.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a 3-person podcast for that one.
Yep. So we obviously had our Stranger Things in-person reaction. Now Ryan is back in Atlanta. How's it being back?
ATL, it's good. It's cold. When I left, it was like Atlanta weather's weird because like it fluctuates. Like you can have like really nice days and then it'll be like freezing like New York weather, but it's been consistently cold since my return. So
What are we talking about in terms of cold? Because it's been pretty darn cold here in New York.
pretty similar, honestly. It's probably been pretty similar. It's chilly. It's chilly. Maybe
Really,
not.
it's been in the 20s here.
Okay. It's not.
It's been brutal. It's been absolutely brutal.
I've spent the past 5 years in Miami, so a little bit of cold gets me now.
That's fair. So usually we start off by doing something new we've watched in the past week, but we're going to get into that at the end of the episode with our November re-rank leading into our December rank. So let's just get into topics. Let's talk about The Boys. Ryan, you and I are both big fans of the series The Boys. It's going to have its 5th and final season, debuting on April 8th of 2026. Trailer came out. What do you think of the trailer?
I think it was great. I think it's exactly what you need for a Boys season 5 trailer. It's all the pieces are in place. We talked about Stranger Things a bunch, obviously, and how season 5 was kind of the perfect place to cap it. Doesn't feel like it's overstaying its welcome. I could say the same exact thing for The Boys. The creator of The Boys, Supernatural. I don't know if you've ever seen Supernatural. I haven't, but I know it. Have you watched Supernatural?
I have not, but I know the story of the 3 actors.
Yeah,
They're now going to be in The Boys.
Yeah, but that's kind of a separate topic. But that show ran for like however, not hundreds, like over 10 seasons. So you can look up while I'm talking how many seasons Supernatural ran, but a bunch of seasons. And the big complaint of that show is like it overstayed its welcome. So I think this is the perfect time to cap off The Boys. Also a show like this, like it could get repetitive. So I'm just ready to see how they're able to conclude it all. What about you? What do you think?
I thought it was really good. First of all, I loved Renegade playing over it, like as soon as the beginning of the trailer starts. Oh, mama. And it builds, obviously. I think it's a very good trailer. I'm excited. I want to see how Butcher is back with the gang, and everyone's like, oh, everyone's yay, buddy, buddy, even though Butcher kind of went dark at the end of season 4. And then, of course, the picture that's going around the internet is Homelander punching, and it's like, who is he punching? Is it Ryan? Is it Butcher? Is it someone else? Not you, Ryan. His son, Ryan. So or maybe it is you. Who knows? So I thought it was a really good.
He liked one of my TikToks the other day. The actor,
Anthony Starr.
No. The actor that plays Robin, the kid Cameron something.
I was gonna say if Anthony Starr liked it, too.
Was-
but along those lines, I think. Look, everyone talks about the Heath Ledger Joker. Everyone talks about when it comes to greatest comic book villains or greatest villains in general performances. Anthony Starr does get a lot of flowers. So this isn't even me saying like, oh, he deserves more flowers. He gets a lot of flowers, deservedly so. He is fantastic as Homelander, and I'm excited. It's kind of like each season, it's like, is he going to snap? Is he going to snap? Is he going to snap? And each season he has his moment of like snapping. This season has to be where he snaps the most. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, and that ties back to what I was saying about it being like the perfect time to cap off this show. Just because like you feel like I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see how they finally take him down. They kind of infer in the trailer, they're like, we're gonna die trying, and I think that's a super cool theme for the season, where it's like we know we're probably gonna die at trying to take down the most powerful superhero on the planet, but we're gonna give it our all, and it really just feels like a perfect trailer to get you excited for a final season of a show that we've been watching for a bunch of years now. So I'm pumped.
And yeah,
No, just I agree. Anthony Starr is incredible. He deserves an Emmy nomination, though. He's
yes.
never been nominated, and he's so good. Yeah,
Well, everyone who watches the show knows that he's incredible and he deserves every Emmy there is. He's outstanding. Outstanding.
Who's your favorite character in The Boys?
Is it Butcher? He's so entertaining. Oh, I love watching Butcher.
I don't like Butcher.
You don't like Butcher?
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's so cool, and he's so like his story. I don't know.
I liked him a lot at first, and over time, just like, oh my god, he's like Winona, annoying.
You're comparing him to Joyce?
No,
That's crazy.
They are very different types of annoying.
Yeah, I love when he's on screen. I think he's entertaining. I think he tries to be a leader. He doesn't always play by the rules because he knows that the soups don't play by the rules. So, yeah, I like Butcher a lot. He's the one who got it started, at least in the show.
Yeah. Do you think Maeve's going to be in this season? She probably has to be, right?
Just because of the last season and we haven't seen her in quite a bit, I'd say so. I'd say that they'll bring her back for some reason. I don't know if it'll be a big role, but they should bring her back in some capacity.
Well, speaking of people being brought back, you see Soldier Boy in the trailer.
Yes, I was actually going to bring that up. Soldier Boy in the trailer, very happy about that. We saw him in Gen V Season 1. Not sure if you saw any of Gen V.
I did not watch Season 2 yet. Have you watched Season 2?
I have also watched Season 1 and not watched Season 2 yet.
We got to get on that.
Yeah, we got to get on to watching Season 2.
And I loved it. I thought it was great. I really liked Gen V. But yeah, we'll get.
And then, but it's weird because Gen V was good, yes, 100%. But then my favorite moment by far is the Soldier Boy cameo thing, and then Homelander showing up at the end, and my heart stopped. Those are the two things, and it's like, yeah, I like the show a lot because it's in the Boys universe, and I want to see more of the Boys.
Yeah,
it's
the funniest thing is I'm on the team where when I'm watching the Boys, I have much more fun watching the Soups than I do watching the Boys. I just love the dynamics between the superheroes and them being scared of Homelander. And
so good.
Trying to that's why I just love their dynamic than the Boys dynamic, because I find that to be a little too repetitive.
And not to tear down humanity or anything, but also that's not what I'm not going to do. Let's be honest. If we're taking the MCU versus the Boys universe, saying which is the more realistic universe if there are superheroes in this world, it's probably the Boys universe.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's totally just an analogy for celebrity and people in power in our world today, which obviously is the case. The whole concept of the Boys it's a parody.
Political satire kind of, yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. But yeah, I'm pumped, and that trailer is great. Great music. I love when a trailer has good music. And yeah, not much more to say about it on my. Anything else for you?
No, just April 8th, 2026. That's 6 days shy of my birthday. So that'll be a nice little early birthday present for me. Another thing that's been in the news recently, I already teased it in the open, the Netflix situation. We got to talk about it. Obviously, it's huge. As an in real time podcast that tells you about updates from movie and TV in real time, it's big. Netflix announced the acquisition earlier this week of Warner Bros. Paramount is now making a push, but regardless, it looks like Warner Brothers is going to be acquired by a different company. And Ryan, the big news is that Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos said, "We're in a period of transition. Folks grew up thinking, I want to make movies on a gigantic screen, and if strangers watch them play in the theater for 2 months and people cry in sold-out shows. It's an outdated concept." So essentially, the theater experience is overrated, is what I take away from that quote. I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
Can't disagree more. Cannot disagree more. I don't even know where to start with this. I mean, I think the whole theater experience is my favorite thing in the world. I mean, it's literally one of my favorite things to do. I'm not happier than when I'm sitting in a theater with a bucket of popcorn and ideally a friend next to me, and I'm watching Nicole Kidman and I'm getting excited. And then that experience only gets better when you have an amazing audience and a crowd and they're laughing and they're cheering. We're going to talk about Knives Out later. How great of a crowd did we have for Knives Out? That's the perfect example for us to actually talk about because that technically is a Netflix movie. It's going to be on Netflix in a week. We saw it in the theaters because they did a 2 week theatrical release for Knives Out. And oh my gosh, I bet my experience of viewing that movie is way better than if I was to watch it at home. Um, I think about even just the last few years, the amount of amazing theater experiences I've had between Deadpool and Wolverine to Oppenheimer and Barbie. How could you say that is outdated? Now, I understand the idea that like, there is technological advances and there is streaming, but to put down theaters that is kind of the heart and soul of this industry, I think that is a very, very silly, silly thing to say, especially when you're talking about Warner Brothers, which this year alone has had some of the best theatrical experiences. They released Weapons, they released Sinners, they did one battle after another. I mean, imagine watching those movies on Netflix. I just couldn't imagine watching on Netflix for the first time.
Imagine watching the Batman Part 2 on Netflix. Or Man
It's
of Tomorrow.
I can't believe he would. I can't believe he would say that. I was really hoping that he would come out and say, we're acquiring Warner Brothers because we're such a fan of the theatrical experience, and we want to have some products that are theatrical and some go to streaming and some go to Netflix and our TV, whatever." But I don't know. It's not the most optimistic response I was looking for from it.
So my first response to you, I want to build off your Knives Out statement. So we saw Wake Up Dead Man together right after the Stranger Things episode. And because it was in select theaters, because it's coming out on Netflix in a few days, it was again only in some theaters. We had to go to a theater in Huntington. They only played like 10 minutes of ads. We assumed it would be like 15, so maybe we missed the first minute or two, which is whatever. And the point is, we would have went to a different theater if it was just released in theaters like usual and we had more options. So it was kind of like, oh, we have to rush to see it. We really want to see it. We don't want to wait till it's out on Netflix. We want that theater experience, but the theater experience wasn't really one we were used to. So it's like, even an experience like that, I still wish was better, and it was just like the good old days, if we're now going to speak like that. So I don't know if you feel the same way or you've thought about it like that, but I still don't love the theatrical releases for a week or two and then go right to Netflix. I like it to be out for a few weeks. Now, I understand what he's saying. The only thing I understand what he's saying is like the 2 month statement, how he said it to be out in theaters in 2 months. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a movie for the first time like a month and a half, 2 months after it was released. If I really want to see it, I would see it a little shorter span. But so that part, I guess I get a little bit, but still, it needs to be out longer than a week or two. It just needs to be. We love the theater experience. We've talked already on this podcast endlessly about our Endgame experience, and they're re-releasing that. We're about to get into that. So I just think it's a disgrace.
And on top of that, it's like let's say they have a huge movie that comes out in theaters, and let's say a month or two later they want to put it on Netflix. Great, it's still going to get a ton of popularity because it's going to go straight to Netflix, and you're going to see it right there. And then everyone who hasn't got a chance to see it can still see it on Netflix. And if you want to make that release window a little bit shorter, not my ideal scenario, but like you said, fine. But movies need to be seen in the theater, especially some of these properties that Warner Brothers has, the Dune franchise, DC, all these things. It's yeah, disgrace is a great word. I'm very disappointed, but I don't know. I hope they listen to people.
And look, during COVID, we had the whole Tom Cruise, we had Christopher Nolan fighting for their movies to get made and their movies to be released in theaters, bring people back to the theaters during COVID. That was the whole thing. And it's like, now we're just gonna try to at least Netflix is just gonna try to tear that down. It's like, yeah, I mean, we both are obviously on the same side of this because we love the theater experience. I'll go to movies alone. I have gone to movies alone.
Yeah, all the time.
Like it's it's not just a social thing. It's like, oh, this movie's out, I'm gonna see it. I don't care if it's just by myself. So it's an event, it's an experience. Taking that away, it doesn't. Or even just having a movie out for a week. If I'm busy that whole week, I'm just not going to get that theater experience. It's not right to me. It's not right to the consumers, which is what he's calling fans. And yeah,
Yeah. It's not also right to the people who spend so much time making a movie not for your Netflix screen. They're making a movie for the big screen. I mean, yeah, it's very silly, and I'm nervous to say the
yep.
least. So.
So that news broke. About an hour later, Marvel announced. This is awesome, by the way. I don't even know. This is probably something that they planned to announce at some point, and then they heard the news and they were like, "Oh, come on, we got to announce this." They announced, yeah, they announced that Avengers Endgame, one of the greatest theater experiences in the history of cinema, my favorite movie experience, me personally. It is re-releasing in September of 2026. And the reason they say, at least reports are saying, that it's because Doomsday, which is coming out 3 months after, is a direct sequel to Endgame. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of thoughts. First, I'm gonna go see it because it's been since 2019 since I last was in the theater and watched the Portals scene, and I will be there. I'm very excited, and I don't think I've watched Endgame in a few months, like maybe over half a year. So that might be the longest break I've had between games, so it'll be perfect.
Valid.
As for it tying directly into Doomsday, I think that's great. Endgame is the highest grossing. No, it's not right now. Avatar is currently the highest grossing because they're playing a little game of back and forth because each time they re-release, one bumps up. So
Endgame will bump back up, yeah.
Endgame is about to bump back up to be the top, potentially the top film of all time. Regardless,
Awesome.
so many people have seen that movie. So many people love that movie. So if you're going to tie it in a logical way, then I'm all for it because it's going to get more people to go to the theater and see Endgame and feel more invested in it because then it'll be a continuation. And hopefully it's also done in a way where Endgame still does feel like a conclusion to that first part, but it does, lead into where we go at the same time. What do you think?
Well, I have a couple questions based on that. So, I don't know if you saw, there's a rumor about a potential new post-credit scene or them doing something different at the end just to like tease Doomsday. Me personally, I don't believe that. And the reason I don't believe that is because Endgame ends, as you know, with Steve and Peggy dancing and then the credits roll. So what, like that's I just can't imagine there being a different post-credits. Like that's the ending. That's the ending of Endgame. I don't know.
Yeah, hear me out. What if?
Okay.
What if? Just thought of this as you said that. What if like you're watching like the last bit? You're watching Endgame in theaters, the re-release, and the last post-credit scene you're watching is like a multiversal version of Endgame. Like that scene that you see at the end is the catalyst for where things diverge from Endgame afterwards. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that was the original one, but now that we're watching it in 2025 or whatever, there's a new ending that's never was there before because you're in a different multiverse or whatever. Does that make sense? Kind of.
It makes sense, but I think if they really wanted to do that, because they're not expecting everyone to actually, like, I assume they're expecting more people. I hope they're expecting more people to watch Doomsday than to watch the re-released Endgame.
Yeah,
right. So the point is, like, why would they? I think if they're going to do that, if Steve and Peggy dancing is going to be the openings, is going to lead into all the stuff that happens with Doomsday, they're going to make that the opening scene of Doomsday. I don't think they would change, because think about it, they're not. Maybe I'm thinking about it too literally and not trying to have and not being fun right now, but it's Endgame. Like, that's the movie. They're not going to change the movie unless, I don't know.
It's definitely gimmicky. I'm not even saying if it's something I definitely love, but like, I don't know. Let's say you're watching watch the end scene, it closes, and then there's an additional little bit.
You see a little.
Yeah.
That would be okay. The only way that it would make sense to me is if Steve and Peggy are dancing, and then something happens at the end, and then that exact same thing happens in the first scene in Doomsday.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't do anything at the end of Endgame that they wouldn't show at the beginning of Doomsday anyway.
Or it could just be a way to get, super fans even more excited. Like, it doesn't have to be a necessary plot point, but just like, oh, cool, maybe, this is a little hint towards
Maybe.
where it goes. It doesn't have to be a massive plot point, but I agree with you. I think overall, I think it's more likely that they keep Endgame as it is. They re-release it so people can get that experience, get excited for Doomsday, and then Doomsday comes out. So,
I guess my question on that is, do you think it's going to be a Steve Peggy interruption, and that's how like Doomsday is going to start, and that's going to start things because Doom is mad that Steve went back in time, and that screwed things up for his multiverse? Like, do you think, because they said direct sequel, the literal last thing that happens in Endgame is that Steve returns to the Stones and then goes back to live in the 30s with Peggy.
I don't like the idea of. See, this is where the direct sequel thing, maybe I'm second guessing myself, because I don't like the idea of messing up our original Steve's story, just like I don't like the idea of messing up our original Tony's story. If it functions as a direct sequel in the sense of, the reason that Doom is doing what he's doing is because of the time heist they do in Endgame, or some other component that functions as a sequel, great. But if it's like, okay, Steve didn't actually get his happy ending, that's when I'm going to be a little bit like I said, I want it to still be a bookend to that first part, but then lead into the next part. And I actually think that's where Endgame failed a little bit as a movie. As much as I love Endgame, I think Endgame is an amazing bookend, but it didn't set really anything up for the future. They didn't prepare for what was going to come next. So I think there's a way to make it feel more continuous and without hurting the arcs of the two big characters of phase 1 to 3.
Yeah, I everything you just said, I 1000% agree with. I would be very annoyed if it's like a shot of Steve and Peggy dancing, and then something happens to Steve, and then Doom comes for him or something. It's like,
if you think about it, Endgame kind of did cause the multiverse in a way, or impact it, because the whole Loki scene when Loki gets messes with the timeline, and then the TVA takes him, and then that's how Loki season 1 starts. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but don't they say they say what the Avengers did was right? They said there's some line in there that says the Avengers did what they were supposed to do, you didn't, or like everything the Avengers did was correct, but everything you did wasn't, or something like that.
They do say that. You're right. I remember. It's something like everything that they did was supposed to happen. What you did.
Yeah.
So, but maybe Loki's the reason that it ties. I don't know, dude.
I want Loki to be a big part of this.
I think he
which is funny.
Another thing is that Endgame news is there was like a Comic-Con in Brazil, and they showed all the cast that's already been announced, and they each had different backgrounds behind them. So there's like the Avengers team background, there's the Thunderbolts team background, whatever, X-Men. And Loki had the same background as Sam Wilson and Thor and all the Avengers, and Ant-Man, and yeah.
But he can't escape where he is, right? So how is he gonna?
I don't know. He just happened to have the same, background on the poster that was shown. So
interesting.
It's like there's like multiple different. There was like the Fantastic Four team, the Thunderbolts team, the Wakanda team, Black Panther team, and then there was the Avengers team and the New Avengers, and Loki was categorized under the Avengers team. I don't know if that means anything. So
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
In Avengers Endgame, spoiler alert to those who are watching who have not watched Endgame yet, but Black Widow dies, and she's played by Scarlett Johansson. And ScarJo. And she does not like the nickname ScarJo. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah. I know, me too. RDJ was calling her ScarJo at some event last week, and then the people on Twitter kept posting all these videos of her going on record so many times saying that she doesn't like the nickname ScarJo. She was like, It's lazy. It's just some of my first name and some of my last name. She was like, this is so lazy.
No way. That's so
yeah, funny. I didn't know that. I've always called her ScarJo too.
All right. I'm off
so
Scarjo
Yeah, no, just Scarlett. Just Scarlett Johansson. She will be in the Batman Part 2, a movie that we're both very excited for.
Confirmed. She's rumored to be.
Yes,
Rumored. I don't want to.
you're right. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Rumored to be reportedly in, no character announced or anything. That is correct. And reportedly, Emma Stone turned down being in the movie. So that's also an interesting thing. But yeah, so that'll be pretty cool. I've always loved. I was about to call it the wrong thing. I've always loved Johansson, and yeah.
Yeah, this marks like the fourth franchise maybe for her because she has Marvel, Jurassic Park. She just started. Wait, there's another big franchise she's in.
Those are the only two I was thinking of.
Those are the only two.
Let me check.
Third big franchise, I guess. Then I feel like there's another big Scarlett Johansson franchise. I was about to say ScarJo again too.
Transformers.
That's not what I'm thinking of. Okay. Anyway, another big franchise for her. She's one of those people that now has crossed over the DC Marvel. If this is the case, I'm a huge fan of Scarlett, as we all are. Who isn't? So for her to be a part of any project, much less a Batman project, I'm in. I do like that she's a part of Matt Reeves' Batman and not necessarily the DCU because it feels a little bit more distinctly different from the MCU. It feels a little bit more grounded than her just doing another big superhero blockbuster. Not that Batman's not that, but it just has a different vibe to it. And as for Emma Stone turning it down, I think Emma Stone just doesn't want to do any superhero content. I just think that's the reason. I don't think that has any reflection on Matt Reeves or the Batman Part 2. I just don't think Emma Stone wants to do superhero movies.
Amazing Spider-Man, yes. The Batman, no. What do we do?
Oh, yeah.
No,
She
okay.
could be a superhero. Well, I think at this point in her career, though, she's doing way more artsy, like,
True.
type stuff. But, yeah, that's awesome.
Did you know Scarlett Johansson was in Home Alone 3?
No, I didn't. I didn't even know there was a Home Alone 3. Wait,
Yeah, there is. It's not as good as the first two.
is it with the same kid or is it with a new kid? I have seen it. I have seen it.
The Alex Pruitt.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
it's the one with the toy car. The toy car's going along the snow.
I would have seen it once, but I remember there's a version without Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I didn't
She's
know
also in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie in 2004. Fun fact. So that's a franchise, kind of. No. It's not a
Kind of.
franchise.
Okay, so I was wrong about 4 franchises, but this is her 3rd franchise, so she's obviously a star. But yeah, just adding another one to her list, a part of Netflix, maybe.
Oh, God. I mean, yay.
Yay!
Yay. The Batman. Hopefully it's in. See, again, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one who has an issue with the select theater stuff. Originally, we didn't even know about the theater in Huntington. It wasn't even supposed to play there. So I thought we were going to have to go to White Plains or something.
Yeah.
And then eventually, it's like, I just want to go to the stadium or the multiplex nearby.
I look, as much as I'm a little nervous, I doubt that Netflix would not release the Batman Part 2 or Superman Man of Tomorrow in theaters. I really don't see a world that happens, as pessimistic as I could be about it and really think they might do it, but I don't see a world where Netflix is releasing massive blockbusters. I don't know. I'm biting my tongue as I say that.
Yeah, no, I hope you're right. And look, Ryan, we're fortunate enough that we got to go to the theaters, while theaters are still a thing right now, in the month of November. And we saw many great projects that we previously ranked. I'm not sure if you remember this. We previously ranked at the beginning of the month, and now we're all at the beginning of December. So I think it's time to re-rank. We're going to choose our top three projects that we have seen, or that came out that we have seen in November of 2025. I guess we'll start with 3, then 2, then 1.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to give me your 3rd favorite project you've seen in November.
Yeah, my 3rd favorite project. Actually, I'm going to give a quick preface to this. Is Frankenstein is not on my list. Frankenstein is currently my favorite movie of the year. But even though it released on Netflix, this whole episode's about Netflix. Even though it released on Netflix, it technically came out in the 2 week theater release before that in October. So I decided not to include it in my three rankings. But I want to make it very clear: I love Frankenstein, and I'm not insulting Frankenstein by not putting it on my November ranking. So third place, I have Eternity that I saw this weekend. Did you see it also? Did you end up making it?
I did see it,
Yeah.
and it also is also my number 3.
And for me at least, I mean, this was a great month of content. Three, it means it's a really good movie. I really liked Eternity. The next two I have, I love too. Yeah, I guess let's talk about Eternity quickly.
Let's do it.
Dude, sometimes it's just so nice to go to a movie and just have a smile on your face when you walk out and just have a good time. I thought Eternity was a really, really nice movie. I really, really liked it. Um, I think it's funny. I think it's creative. I don't think it takes itself too seriously. I think it's beautifully made. I love the whole aesthetic of it. And I think it's unpredictable. I think when you have a really cool concept like that, it's kind of tough to stick the landing. And I think it really does stick the landing. I like how it concludes. Um, Besides the fact that I'm just a massive fan, as we've mentioned many times, biggest celebrity crush, Elizabeth Olsen. Um, I really like this movie, dude. It was so good.
First, I want to give it a shout out. I don't know if her name is Divine or Devine. Not sure if you know,
Divine.
but it's Divine. Thank you, Divine Joy Randolph. She's in Only Murders in the Building. And when I saw she was in this movie, I got very excited because she plays a small role in Only Murders, like a recurring role, but she's always been funny to me. And the fact that she was able to be in this movie, I genuinely was happy about that, and I liked every time she was on screen.
You know she's an Oscar winner, right?
I did not know that, to be honest.
Yes, I think
But that makes me even more happy. that makes me happier than her just being in Eternity.
yeah,
Should
she
prime.
won Best Supporting Actress this past year. Yeah, 2024. Or,
Well, that's awesome.
yeah.
Look at me, Mr. Unprepared over here.
No.
I'm very happy that the world's starting to get to know her.
Yeah, she's great. She's really good.
She is.
She's massive. Like, she hasn't been in a ton of stuff. This is more of a recent thing.
Good.
But she's cool.
But anyway, so yeah, she's awesome. You know, I really like this movie. So it's funny. Usually I have a really good mental clock with movies. So I knew it was an hour 50 minutes long. And I thought it was like an hour 35, hour 40 into the movie. Spoiler alert, by the way. We're spoilers on all these projects. It was like an hour and a half, hour 35 into the movie or whatever, when Elizabeth Olsen said, "Neither of you guys, I'm choosing myself," basically. And I rolled my eyes. I was like, "Oh, don't end like this. That would be so annoying." And I should have known. But again, my mental clock I just didn't have it. I just didn't have it that day, I guess. Then, great scene when he tells her, "Your hair never looked like that." Oh, so good. So good. So good. I was like, "Oh my God, this is breaking my heart right now." And then she goes with him, and it was clearly like, it's so funny. She spent all those years with Miles Teller's character, and she was thinking about the first husband. And then as soon as she finally tries to live a life with the first husband, of course she can't stop thinking about Miles Teller. So so like she tried, but realistically, Ryan, the lesson I took away from it was people grow. People change. So she wasn't the same person she was when she was married to the first husband all those years ago. And and I thought about it from the kids' perspective. If when their kids pass away, they want their parents to be together in the afterlife. Anybody does. So I thought she needed to end up with him. She did. And yeah, I want to know what your thoughts are on him being the bartender at the very end, like basically stealing the the first husband's. I have a couple things about the first husband because he gets a little screwed. Like he did wait the 67 years. Don't do it. He did wait the 67 years. And stop. I see it in your eyes. Stop. And then, of course, like she belonged with the second husband. I think we could both agree on that. But then he doesn't even get a good ending. Like, he doesn't really get a satisfying ending, in my opinion. He just like does the distraction thing, which I thought was kind of silly. And then his move of going at the bar and waiting for her gets taken by Miles Teller. So it's kind of like he kind of gets screwed at the end. But I want to know, because I have a different ending that I think I would have preferred. I guess I want to know your take on the ending.
I like the ending because, like you said, I thought it was going to end when she chose none of them. Then I thought it was going to end when she chose him, and then she ends up choosing the one that I would have wanted her to choose. And I think that's the goal of the movie, for you to really want her to want Miles Teller. You said something a few minutes ago where you were like, she's the whole time she's married to Miles Teller, she's thinking about her old husband. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think they're kind of like two totally separate entities. But where you did hit the nail on the coffin was, is that the saying? Hit the nail on the coffin? Is
Sure.
where
Yeah.
you said that people change and people grow. So, you can be the happiest when you're a kid. You can be the happiest when you were in college. Who knows when? You know what I mean? So her first love, she might have been the happiest she's ever felt then, but she built a foundation and she built comfort, and she built really her your life isn't just happiness. It's sadness, and it's anger and confusion, and all of those emotions came with her relationship with Miles Teller. And I think she realizes that, and she doesn't want the perfect life that she has with her first husband. As for his ending, he was trapped at that bar for so many years waiting for her that now he's finally living his life. That was the whole thing. He's doing all this stuff that he had, living his life, doing all this stuff he hasn't been able to do in years. And she wasn't about that. She just wanted comfort. That's why she chooses the suburb at the end. You know what I mean? She wants comfort. So he gets to go off and do his adventuring and all the stuff he wants to do. And she gets to have the comfort and comfortability that, she lived her life, she feels. So, as for him going to be the bartender, I kind of see what you're saying. I get it. That's a little weird. But also, like, he was probably just waiting for her in the chance that she one day realized she wanted him. And she had to come to that decision, not him tell her, the whole time he's trying to convince her. He's like, you and me, you and me, you and me, you and me. Where are we gonna go? So he leaves it up to her, but he still kind of has faith that she'll come back to him. I think it's nice. So he chooses the bar. I don't know.
That's a lot to follow up on. That's a really good point you made about him being able to live his life, be adventurous, and do all the things that he's clearly waited 67 years to do with her, but he's still able to do it himself. I get that point. That's actually a really good point that you just made. I didn't think about that. When I say she was thinking about him for all those 67 years, I didn't mean like she didn't want to be with her second husband or anything. I just meant she was thinking about the fact that her first husband died. Like, that's normal. If I married, of course I would think about, and then my wife passed away, of course I think about my wife for the rest of my life. It doesn't mean that I'm not happy with the person I end up with afterwards. That's not, it wasn't like a bad thing. I'm just saying she was like missing him in a way, which is normal. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The bartender thing here, I'm very quickly, we'll get to our number 2 to number 1. Very quickly though, I'm going to give you another ending very quickly. So instead of going to the bar, Miles Teller goes to the void on purpose. Hold on. They kept talking about the void the entire movie. It's just it's just black, endless space. No one wants to be there. He said to her, I don't care where we are, anywhere, as long as I'm with you. And he could have thought to himself, oh, if on the odd chance she does come back to try to find me or whatever, and she leaves the first husband, they're going to arrest her, throw her into the void, and she'll end up here. So I thought that could have been, like, I probably would have cried if that happened. That would have been awesome.
That's I forgot that. That's what Ethan said. He was like, my buddy Ethan, who I was watching.
Really?
Kind of different. He was like, what if they both go to their separate places and they both decide they have to go find the other, and they both try and escape, and they both get into the void, and then they're there. And like, that's the whole point. They spend eternity, just the two of them, and nothingness. I would have liked that ending better, but I'm not upset with what we got. Good.
Yep.
Good call, Noah. I like it.
Number three for both. That's pretty darn good.
I think we're gonna have opposites here. I have Wake Up Dead Man at number. Wait, sorry. I have Stranger Things 4 at number 2. 5.
That's what I figured.
Stranger Things 5 at number 2.
So your top 2 is going to be the exact same.
Yeah. I have Stranger
Guess
Things
what?
5 at number 2, and then I have Wake Up Dead
Wake
Man
Up
at
Dead
number
Man.
one. What about you, Noah?
My top two is also going to be the same as my beginning of the month. It's going to be, it's going to be number two, Wake Up Dead Man, number one, Stranger Things. We'll get into both, but I gave Wake Up Dead Man an 8.9. And it's too early to actually rank it, but if I were to rank Stranger Things season 5 volume 1, I'd probably give it like a 9 or maybe a 9.1. So it's close. It's very close. I know they're very different. We didn't really get into Wake Up Dead Man. We obviously did an entire episode on Stranger Things. So unless you have any new thoughts on Stranger Things, I'm down to just chat about Wake Up Dead Man for a little bit.
Yeah, no, the only reason I put Stranger Things below Wake Up Dead Man is two reasons. First, I just had more issues with some aspects of Stranger Things. You know, we talked in our podcast about some of the flaws of the season. I had way less flaws when I was thinking about it with Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man. I love that movie. We'll talk about it in a second. Also, just the fact that it's part one. You know, the part two can totally impact the way I view part one, and yeah, just because it is a part one, it's not as grand and as exciting as if it was the full season. So that's why I put it at number two.
All right, let's talk. I have a question. I need to address something. What did you think of the way the entire story was revealed at the very end of Wake Up Dead Man?
I liked it actually. I kind of put this all together. I know a little bit of your thoughts, but I think it's creative because again, spoilers, but Benoit Blanc, he always does these big reveals in front of everyone, and they're all pointing out and they're realizing things, and people are butting in and whatever. And this was different, and I think that's great because it ties into the theme of the movie, and the theme of the movie is about, you know, faith and being a good leader in a place of worship. And at the end, Father Judd decides to not expose one of the people that he, that goes to the church, and instead give her the opportunity, as a good priest would do, to come clean and tell her side of the story, not in front of a crowd. You know, similar to a confession. You know, you go to a confession and you talk to a priest and you have that one-on-one, and it's between you two. That's what he gives Glenn Close's character.
I see what you're saying. I think what happened in the movie was so awesome. I think the story was incredible. I think the what we call it, what expectations? Oh, subverting expectations. That part of it. The what's going on? Oh, this happened. Oh, wait, it's this guy. No, it's this guy. That was awesome. And then the reveal at the end, what we find out, it was so cool. Like when we find out, oh wait, this actually happened. I just really think, and again, I know we disagree on this, but I really think it was weak for me. I understand the point. I understand she's confessing, but like I don't know, it felt very anticlimactic. I was waiting. We were all waiting the whole movie for, oh, what actually happened? How is it going to be revealed? How is it going to be revealed? Obviously, Knives Out, the first movie, has an awesome reveal at the end with the vomit, and it's like, oh my god, this is theater. This is what I want to see. This is so cool. And then even Glass Onion, really cool reveal at the end. This was just the lady confessing and telling every single little detail. So it's like all these things we're wondering about the whole movie. It's just told in one long monologue by the person who did it. I don't know. I think that was a big reason why, for me, it's definitely not my favorite Knives Out movie. It's either 2 or 3. It's probably my second favorite, I'd have to say. But for me, I don't have it as good as Knives Out because, I already mentioned this a little bit on our reaction right after the theater, but the characters, besides Josh Brolin, who was phenomenal, by the way, the characters aren't really that memorable, and then B, the reveal at the end. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying, especially about the characters, because I also felt that they weren't as dynamic or interesting when that was one of the best parts about the first two movies. But like, just to play devil's advocate, this just felt like, if if Ryan Johnson wants to make 20 more of these, right? They all have to feel different and be distinct. And like you said, Glass Onion, the reveal of that is big, and there's an explosion. It's bombastic. Knives Out reveal is a little bit more creative and unique. To me, this just felt like the right ending for the story and the message that was trying to be told. And it was a little bit more of an intimate ending. I think that moment when she's looking up at him and she says, "You're really good at this." That's the whole point of the movie. You know what I mean? And for me, I just felt it was the perfect ending for the theme and the story that they were trying to tell, even if it wasn't as big as some of the other ones. Um, I don't know, dude. It might be my favorite. It might be. I'm not sure about that, um, because I really like Glass Onion, which is pretty funny. It,
You need to rewatch Knives Out. You need to rewatch Knives Out.
I'm halfway through it. I'm halfway through it. I love it.
Okay.
Great. I just, maybe my problem with Knives Out is just like I feel like it's so obvious it's Chris Evans.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, like he's the bad guy. You know.
To the family, yeah.
Like, I just like yeah, it's the asshole.
Just because he's an Avenger?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
because all three?
We were joking, me and Noah, that at the end of each Knives Out movie, you find out that it's an Avenger who did it. So you have Chris Evans in the first one, and you have
Ed Norton.
Edward Norton, who's kind of an Avenger because he plays Hulk, but not in the Avengers, so kind of cheating. And then obviously not Glenn Close, but Hawkeye is one of Jeremy Renner's one of the murderers in Wake Up Dead Man. So it's our little joke now that it's always the Marvel actors. But then Batista, I guess, could have been the murderer in Glass Onion in that case. But I just thought
Sure, so it needs to be one of the five. So I guess RDJ in the next Knives Out movie? Is that what I'm hearing?
yeah, or Scarlett.
Scarlett, not to be confused with. We're not going to say that.
We're not going to cancel her. But yeah, I totally understand your criticisms and your issues with the movie. I just didn't feel that way. I really, really just loved it.
Yep. I mean, 8.9 is a pretty great score. So it was awesome. It was awesome. I enjoyed it so much.
And then if you guys want to hear our Stranger Things thoughts, we have a whole video, 45 minutes in person, that you can watch to hear our thoughts on Stranger Things and why I ranked it number 2 and why Noah ranked it at his number 1 of November.
Absolutely. All right, let's do December. I'm going to rattle off a list for us to choose from. We're going to do our top 3 most anticipated projects for December. So we have Stranger Things Volume 2, the Stranger Things series finale, Marty's Supreme Christmas Day, color orange, Avatar Fire and Ash, The Housemaid starring Sydney Sweeney, for you Sydney Sweeney fans out there.
Box office draw, Sydney Sweeney.
What did you say?
She's a box office draw. Everyone goes
Oh, yes.
movies. Makes so much
That
money.
that is correct.
You hear about this?
Huh?
Chrissy made like no money her last movie, like under.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Anaconda, which is a Paul Rudd, Jack Black comedy. We have Jay Kelly. We have Oh What Fun, a Christmas movie, and Song Sung Blue, which is a Neil Diamond tribute band movie starring Hugh Jackman. So that's a list right there.
That's a tribute movie. It's not about Neil Diamond. Interesting.
It's a tribute band.
A tribute band. Interesting.
Like it's they're called Thunder and Lightning, I want to say, and it's like a tribute band for Neil Diamond.
Huh. That's cool.
So it's not just like he's not Neil Diamond. He's like covering Neil Diamond stuff.
Oh, I didn't realize that when I saw about it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Should you want to go first? What's your third place?
My third place is I have an honorable mention. Should I make it or no?
Yeah, go for it.
Honorable mention very quickly is Song Sung Blue. Hugh Jackman's always gonna get me to perk up, and yeah, it's we've talked a lot about music biopics and everything, and although he's not actually playing Neil Diamond, and I don't really know the story of Thunder and Lightning, I don't know the story at all. I just know Sweet Caroline is a Neil Diamond song. And it's a great song. I'm interested in it, so that's definitely my number 4. But again, this is just top 3. My number 3 is Marty's Supreme Christmas Day.
Yeah, I have. Should I give my number three, or should I say where I have Marty Supreme? I will.
Uh, give your number 3.
My number three is Avatar: Fire and Ash. So why don't you start to say why you put Marty Supreme at number three?
Timothy Chalamet is apparently awesome in the role, shocking to nobody, and it's cool because it's seeing. I've always loved stories, as I'm sure you have, of like extremely competitive people, and just seeing the trailer, especially seeing it recently in theaters when I saw Eternity a few days ago, seeing it again, it's just so cool that he's just like this psycho, this guy who will do anything to win, extremely confident. At least that's what it seems like. So I'm very, and it's in ping pong. That's kind of cool. So I'm very excited to see it. Timothy is the man. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be
I'll
seeing
just
it.
say I have it at my number two. I'm also pumped for it, and like it's a Safdie movie. I think Josh Safdie is the one that directs this one. Um, and those movies are chaotic and energyful, and they often deal with like super flawed characters. So I'm very excited to see how that plays out in one of those classic genres about someone who's overly talented and overly confident, but I don't know if that's going to get ahead of him or um, or if he's gonna. I don't know, but it's so up my alley. I'm really pumped. Like you said, Chalamet, he's probably the greatest. We've talked about this on our podcast. Probably the greatest actor of our generation. So anything that he does, he is gonna draw me to go see. So he's one of the few people that's like, oh, Timothy Chalamet movie, I'm gonna be there. So I'm so pumped for Marty Supreme Christmas Day. Um, yeah, I have really high expectations.
Me too.
Do you
Me
have
too.
Avatar, do you have Avatar on your list? Because I have that at my number three.
I do not have Avatar. Do you have it number 3
Yeah,
because of the Doomsday? No, I'm kidding.
yeah, because there might be a Doomsday trailer before it. No, that's not why. I like Avatar. I just have a really good, fun time at the movies. Do I think they're like the best movies ever? Absolutely not. But like, I have enjoyed the first two. I think they're beautiful. Um, it's one of the few movies. Actually, it is the only movie I don't mind seeing in 3D because I think they actually do a really good job with 3D. And I'm a huge fan of James Cameron. James Cameron, he used to be an art director. He started his career in similar to how I am, in the art department world, and he grew from there to be a director. And I think it's obviously very evident in his movies if you look at any of the behind the scenes of Titanic and how they built those sets or Avatar. So I just think James Cameron's an awesome guy, and I'm a huge fan of him. And I really like these movies, and I'm pretty confident I'm gonna have a really fun time watching it. So I'm looking forward to that experience.
Well said. Well said. We'll see how that does at the box office. All of Cameron's movies do well.
Yeah. What's your number two, Noah?
So I have 2 left. One of them is a show, and one of them is in theaters. So
Stranger Things,
let me say it, man.
dude. That should count as one,
Should it?
maybe. I don't know. Okay.
I probably should, but I'm
Did you
not
get
counting it
did
as.
you get tickets to Stranger Things in the theater already?
I tried. By the time, so it came out at like noon, whatever day it was last week, and then I got on the app at 1:30. Sue me. And then I looked for tickets, and it was basically everything was sold out. It was insane. It
Terrible. I tried to.
would have been cool, but no. Let me try to explain why I think it should count as separate ones. So I'm gonna have Volume 2 as my number 2. I'm very excited for Volume 2. Like we talked about in the Stranger Things episode, there are so many questions. And I truly believe all of these questions, all of them, are going to be answered in Volume 2, not in the finale. We are going to find out about the Upside Down. We are going to find out about the whole November 6th situation. And I have a new theory that explains everything because we talked about. I told you I was frustrated that Joyce or Hopper didn't say anything about Henry. Then I remembered after I didn't even talk about this in the episode. Joyce said that Will was 11 when he was taken, but he was actually 12. So she just got that wrong. They forgot his birthday on March 22nd in season 4. Like everyone's forgetting everything. And I know the Duffers aren't this dumb to like just have all these characters forget all the most obvious details. So there's some sort of mind erasing going on by Vecna. Like, clearly. I've never been more convinced. So we're going to find out about that in season 4. In volume 2. We're going to find out about the canyon and why he's scared, because we're having the whole Henry's memories episode 6 is going to be all of Henry's memories. We're going to have Max and or Holly escape and then help. Like, so many things. All the questions are going to be answered in volume 2, and that's why I truly think it's separated from the finale. I should be separated from the finale, because it's going to be so, like, there are going to be so many twists, so many turns, and whereas the finale, which is my number 1, obviously, is going to be like the conclusion to everything. It has a 40-minute epilogue. It's wrapping up every storyline. It's going to have some part of the Jonathan and Nancy ending. That's going to have the Dustin finally admitting to his friends that he got beat up and they were trying to lift him up. Like, that's going to have all the wrapping up all the character arcs. And that is going to be incredible, because I really trust them when it comes to having all these character arcs wrapped up. But like, if there's going to be a death, that's probably going to happen in like episode 7 in volume 2. So I don't want to predict too much things. I'm just saying I think that volume 2 is going to be answering all the questions, and the finale is going to be obviously cinematic. They have it in theaters. That's going to be I think they're totally separate.
Yeah, I guess I just put the finale as my most anticipated, but I kind of jumbled them together. I guess I didn't really realize we were separating the two. But
fair.
yeah, dude, even though like I'm a movie guy, and like part of me was like, dude, I should put Marty Supreme at first. It's like the best movie of the year. It's A24 Timothy Chalamet. I'm so excited for Stranger Things. I think about it every day, dude. It's like I'm pumped. And this first volume got me very excited, and I do have a lot of questions, and I agree with what you said, that they're going to be answered, and I'm looking forward to finding out how they're going to be answered. And if Stranger Things is the closest thing that we have nowadays to like water cooler talk, like water fountain talk. You go up to the Water Fountain Network and everyone's seen it, It's a cultural phenomenon. It's in the zeitgeist of today. And it's like, I was just reminded about this when I watched the new season, just how many people love this show, how good it is. I always forget. And then it comes back on and I'm like, oh, this show is so good. So I would be lying to myself if I did not push that number 1.
There's so much good. There's so much good of volume 1. Even I keep seeing on Twitter the episode 3, the trap,
Yeah.
that everyone's laying for the Demogorgon, because it's directed by Frank Darabont and he did a great job. And just like even that scene, that I think it's like 1 minute 52 seconds. It's just perfection. That is Stranger Things. It's just it's so satisfying to watch something like that. So yeah.
Well, dude, we have an amazing month of movies coming up. We had a really good November, too. This is our 8th episode, so we've been doing this for 2 months, which is kind of crazy. I'm still having a great time. I look forward to it every week. Yeah, and hopefully we'll try and get another guest soon. I'll try and have an answer for us next week on who our next guest will be. Try and get one a month, someone that I work with in the film industry, to come chat with us. Besides that, is there anything else you want to add, Noah?
I don't think so. I think we wrapped everything up.
Well, on that note, thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you follow us on everything. Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram now. You can also find our own personal socials down below. You see it right there. And thank you guys for watching.
In real time.
We will see. Wait.
Shit. wait. To say.
Thank you guys for watching. We will see you next week.
In real time.
In real time.